truth. Okay, in order to speak our truth, we have to find our truth and go back to the beginning. For myself, when I started with learning about a lot of these things, I had to go back to the beginning, because as a result of what happened in my life, I was part of centralization and assimilation. This was back in the 40s. I was born in 1945. And my parents moved from Chapel Island to here. They were promised this house, but we ended up with a shell of a house. And most of us, we were pretty poor, all of the people here on the reserve. And also with the assimilation and centralization, the moving of our people, the residential schools also came into play here. Eskasoni was a pretty large reserve because they tried to forcibly move everybody here and shut out a lot of the other reserves or close them down. So again, when I left here in 1955, I was about 10 years old when I entered the residential school. And at the time, I guess my parents thought that it would be a good place, that we would be fed 3 meals a day, we'd have a warm bed, everything would be fine. And but little did they know about what the residential school was all about. So as a result of the residential school, I left the place feeling empty and lost, and I didn't know who I was as I went throughout life. And I know this is still happening today in our communities, like where they're intervening because of abuse, whether it's through alcohol or drugs or what is it, that children are still being apprehended. And how do we work this, you know? And I think working together to come to a better or a clearer understanding of what it is. And I also was part of the Truth and Reconciliation. And what it was also learning to find our truth and to be able to speak it. And it was, again, with the Truth and Reconciliation, I never thought there was that many people, but when you go out across Canada, you hear one story after another, and you would swear that we were all from the same residential school or from the same place, because the stories were very similar. Truth is represented by the turtle, and the turtle sits on top, and when you're doing a talking circle, the turtle will sit there. You speak your truth, but you're surrounded by people that will love you and that care for you, and you feel safe. And while you're speaking, you also have that in you, that you have to have that willingness. You want to change. So this is what the snake represents. The snake sheds its skin, I don't know how many times, maybe once or twice a year as it grows. But these are just some of the things that take place. Again, little turtle rattle. I've seen many great big rattles, little ones, but the one that fit my hand was this. And this is what I was told, that this, again, in ceremony, is a teach-in rattle. It has around here the 13 markings, the number of moons, the number of cycles that a woman would have. So in our lunar year, whatever, we have 13 moons. Around here, the little scales on the outside, there's 28. So when you multiply them, 28 by 13, you get 364. 365th day is New Year's. So it's like, and our people, I don't know if we had a day of rest, but we worked accordingly to what was needed, and we knew by the seasons and by what was there, how and when to work. And we followed this traditional way of life. So I think this here is there's a whole lot more on truth, but we have to find our own truth and what's true for us and be able to speak that.